Hello, everyone. Today, I'm going to explain a manhwa, the sword god from a fallen world. A world consumed by the void, a civilization wiped from existence, and one man, carrying the weight of a fallen realm, granted a second chance in a world that has no idea what's coming. The sword god from a fallen world isn't just your typical transmigration story. It's a journey of a survivor trying to find purpose when he's already seen the end of all things. Today, I'm going to explain the origins of the sword god, the mechanics of this new world, and why this manhwa is quickly becoming a must-read. Before we start, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our weekly breakdowns. Now, let's get into the fallen world, the end of one world. In a world reduced to ash and rubble, survival was not a right, but a relentless battle. For 10 years, one man spent every waking moment fighting the monsters that had destroyed his home. He was a master of the blade, capable of cutting down any beast with a single sword, fueled by a spirit that refused to know fear. However, even his incredible skill could not change the ultimate truth. The world he once lived in had perished. Amidst the chaos, he faced the mastermind behind the destruction. This powerful entity looked down upon the swordsman, calling him a waste of talent and demanding he submit. "Become my sword," the mastermind commanded. The man's response was a defiant laugh as he launched a desperate attack. Despite his struggle, the mastermind dismissed him as nothing more than an insect, and the swordsman was struck down, coughing up blood as his world finally ended. A strange new beginning. Suddenly, the scene shifts from the darkness of a dying world to the bright, bustling streets of modern-day Yongsan District, Seoul. A young man with dark, messy hair walks down the street, looking entirely out of place in a white t-shirt, black shorts, and simple slides. He approaches the Namsan Gate, a rank B portal where civilian passage is strictly prohibited. Ignoring the warning signs, he walks straight through the entrance without scanning a hero registration or identification. An alarm blares through the area. Warning: an unregistered hero has forcefully entered the gate. The warning ignored. Inside the lush forested environment of the gate, the young man is stopped by a group of armored heroes. Seeing his casual attire and simple backpack, they immediately mistake him for a clueless porter who was ditched by his team. The leader of the group tries to offer sincere, if condescending, advice. He tells the young man that trying to hunt inside a gate based on what he saw on TV is suicide. He explains that a hero must first get an official license and pass rigorous training. He warns that the Namsan Gate is rank C and far too dangerous for a beginner who should start at rank F. The young man isn't interested in their help. "I know you mean well," he says coldly, "but I'm not really thankful." He turns and walks deeper into the woods, leaving the heroes shocked and angry at his perceived arrogance. The relentless cycle. As the young man continues alone, a massive horned shadow looms over him. A monstrous beast, far more powerful than anything a porter should encounter, prepares to strike. But the young man doesn't flinch. He thinks back to those 10 years of constant slaughter in the ruins of his old world. As he prepares to face the creature, a familiar resolve settles over him. He realizes that whether it is a ruined wasteland or a modern city with gates, his life remains the same. Not a single thing is different. The lowly harvest. Deep within the Namsan Gate, the young man moved with a grace and lethality that belied his casual appearance. With a swift, practiced motion, he drew a massive curved blade. In an instant, the monster before him was nothing more than a heap of severed flesh and dark blood. He reached down into the gore and pulled out a small, glowing gem, a low-grade magic stone. He looked at the prize with a trace of bitter nostalgia. In the ruined world he had spent 10 years defending, a stone of this quality wouldn't have even been worth a second glance. Now, it was a necessity. He tucked it into his backpack, which was already beginning to bulge with the weight of his low-tier loot. Misplaced concern. Outside the immediate fray, the group of heroes he had snubbed earlier remained gathered. They spoke of him with a mix of irritation and pity, wondering aloud if the rude guy had already met a grisly end. If he's an intruder, the agents from the control center should be on their way by now, one of them remarked confidently. They reasoned that because Namsan was a rank C gate, elite rank B agents would be dispatched to handle the situation. To them, the young man was surely cowering in some corner of the forest, shaking right now, and desperately waiting for the authorities to save him from the monsters. The arrival of the control center. The hero's prediction came true, but not in the way they imagined. 3 figures in sharp black suits and dark sunglasses appeared in the forest. The gate control center agents. They approached the young man with an air of absolute authority. "Please show your hero registration ID," the lead agent commanded. "If you're unregistered, you'll need to come with us to the control center." The young man didn't even stop walking. He muttered about how the harvest isn't great so far. Only 12 low-grade and 16 lower mid-grade stones. To him, the agents were nothing more than a tedious interruption. A final warning. How annoying. He sighed as the agents surrounded him. The situation escalated quickly. "Get the cuffs," the lead agent barked, while another reached out and gripped the young man's arm firmly. They warned him that any injury resulting from his resistance would be his own responsibility, and that it would be best to resolve the matter calmly at the center. The young man's gaze sharpened, his eyes glowing with a cold, predatory light. "Don't bother me," he said, his voice dropping to a dangerous level. "Just leave." The agents didn't listen. They drew their tactical batons, crackling with the blue light of a rank 4 magic seal. The young man looked at the high-tech weapons with bored contempt. Such things might work on common orcs, but they were useless against a man forged in a decade of apocalypse. With a sudden explosive movement, the elite agents were overwhelmed. A cry of pain echoed through the trees as the young man effortlessly broke their hold. Standing over the defeated agents, he delivered one last, chilling ultimatum. "Final warning, if you don't want to get hurt, go back." The price of arrogance. The confrontation between the young man and the control center agents was over almost as soon as it began. Dull thuds and the sound of bodies hitting the dirt echoed through the woods as the elite team was dismantled with effortless precision. One agent gasped in shock as the young man seemed to vanish from sight, his speed far exceeding their ability to track. Within moments, the agents were left choking and gasping for air, their authority shattered along with their pride. A lesson in law and order. The young man didn't kill them. He wanted information. Looming over one of the fallen agents, he asked a simple question. "Registered heroes don't have any problems, right?" The terrified agent quickly explained the system. Registered heroes. As long as they don't commit illegal acts inside a gate, the control center has no reason to interfere with them. The tracking system. If an unregistered person enters a gate, the control center is automatically notified, and nearby standby agents are dispatched immediately. The young man realized his mistake. By entering the gate without a license, he had essentially tripped a silent alarm. Gates versus rift zones. Seeking a way to operate without constant harassment, the young man inquired about rift zones. The agent, desperate to survive the encounter, provided the world-building details. Gates. These are stabilized passages to other worlds that the country completely controls and confines. Rift zones. These are unknown, uncontrolled spaces where bizarre monsters appear. Passages to other worlds that have not yet been turned into official gates. The resource war. The byproducts harvested from the monsters in these zones are highly valued as a new source of energy for the world. The agent warned him that rift zones are far more difficult to access than gates and that the Hero Association would never allow an independent party to claim those resources. The Psycho and the Shadow. Ah, so what? The young man replied, his tone as cold and indifferent as ever. He turned his back on the agents and began to walk away into the depths of the forest. Behind him, the lead agent boiled over with humiliation and rage. He's a psycho, this bastard, he screamed, swearing that next time he would personally kill the nobody who had humiliated them. As the sounds of the agent's tantrum faded, the young man's mind drifted back to the moment his old world ended. He remembered a scream and the feeling of being sucked into a void, a sensation he had mistaken for the finality of death. In that darkness, a mysterious voice had reached out to him, asking a single echoing question. Who are you?